Brian, you're muted. Are we all muted? Brian's muted. Everybody's muted.
Awesome. So, hi, welcome back. StreamYard used to unmute you when it did a media.
Yeah, they did a recent upgrade to
Now you gotta do it manually.
Well, I saw that they did a pop-up where you could group edit your media assets, and I wonder if they're starting to introduce possible bugs, maybe
I don't know. Anyway, welcome back to Lawfully Chaotic Season 5, Episode 14. I know our schedule has been pretty scattered lately. Sorry, there's just been a lot of things going on. One of us has something, and the other one. So, but it's summer, so people should be out being active anyway. But
this is very true.
We're going to try to get back onto a somewhat regular schedule. But
no, I think we're off for the summer starting next week. Yay!
We are not. Don't go spreading lies.
It's not a lie if it's not true. It's just simply not true.
Is that the same thing?
Nope. Wait. I didn't lie. I just told an untruth.
Okay.
You meant like to twist things like that.
Anyway, with me, as always, are Jason of TTRPG Academy, the storyteller himself, and Kristen, Kristen's Epic Adventures. Kristen is joining us from her phone tonight because she is in, where are you? Dubai, on your way to Tokyo?
I wish I was on my way to Tokyo.
Kristen's laptop went breaky.
It went no ma.
Yeah, so, but you persevered and you are here.
Technology.
Technology. So anyway, what are we talking about tonight? I think we're just.
Oh my God. What should we talk about?
I know Jason has one topic that would be a good lead.
Oh,
well, I think we need to ask the normal intro, which is, hey Brian, you got anything going on?
Oh, I forgot about announcements. Not really. I haven't played my.
That's my line.
What's that?
That's my line. I got nothing.
Well, I haven't played my Wednesday night game in like 3 or 4 weeks because I have a rule of 2, which I know you do also, Jason. Where there's one person out, we can still play. There you go. If there are 2 people out, then we push. And it's been a lot of so it's not just me with Lawfully Chaotic or us with Lawfully Chaotic. It's everybody. I haven't run it in at least a month because everybody's traveling and got something going on. So kind of just.
Well, it is that typical transition from spring to beginning of summer. Yeah. School is out. People are moving.
Yeah,
people are taking vacation and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like, I'm not running nearly as many games as I'm used to running.
Yeah.
But I've kind of adjusted for that, and I'm kind of okay running only the games I'm running right now.
Yeah, I mean, take a bit of a breather, and
I'm
getting to play more, mostly in your games, but I got Gary's tomorrow night.
Well, you better be there not this Sunday, but next Sunday, because the Strahd thing is heating up. So better get your ass back there, God damn it. Yeah. But anyways, I do want to get that Fandelver game going on Saturdays. So I am going to focus on getting that up and running within the next 2 weeks. And it's going to be a game specifically to teach people how to play. So it's going to be a short form, maybe 5 or 10 sessions. And it's going to be designed. I'm going to design it in the same framework that they did that release in the Dungeon Masters series. I love that framework. They did a great job of really helping people understand how to play the game. I would also say that I recently signed up to hopefully get selected as a volunteer at WonderCon to run some tables for Southern SoCal D&D.
Nice.
Although I haven't heard back from them yet. They're kind of a flaky group anyway, so.
Well, don't call them that on the internet. Now you're definitely not going to call you back.
But Kristen, I don't give a fuck. So it's like if you want a 40-year veteran DM to show up, who's a professional DM to help teach people how to play D&D for free, well then go look at all my shit and invite me for a conversation. If you're just gonna stack me in like 100 emails and just let me linger, go fuck yourself. I don't care. I hate poor ops. I hate poor management. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I'm
right with you. You know that. It just
drives me nuts. Yeah, and we already know Kristen doesn't have anything going on because she said it twice.
Well, I don't have anything going on like currently, but I did go to the movies to see Disclosure Day.
Yeah, what did you think? What did you think of that? I've heard it's.
Please don't spoil it.
I wouldn't spoil it. No, I wouldn't spoil it.
You don't have to give any details, but what did you think about it? Because some of the reviews I've heard is that they're calling it the Boomer Anthem. It's like an anthem for boomers, is what they're calling it.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard people say you either love it or hate it, but I feel like I was somewhere in the middle.
Interesting.
Yeah. I did not walk away going, wow, what an amazing Steven Spielberg movie. But I thought it was pretty good.
Well, the only challenge I have with the idea that he's done this movie, it feels like Close Encounters Part 2.
Somebody said that he's referring to this as like his part 3 of his trilogy because Close Encounters and then E.T.
Right. Yeah. So Close Encounters was the secretive interpretation of aliens. E.T. was kind of like the
alien right away. And he's cute.
Yeah. And then this one is all about like a modern take of what happens to society when it's exposed to the idea that aliens are real. It's just not a very nuanced subject for me. It's not like something that's a new subject. And there were
certainly quite a few scenes where I was like on the edge of my seat, for sure.
Jason, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I don't really have an interest in seeing it. So.
Okay. I have a very high interest in seeing it.
Yeah. I did like it, I like
it. I've fallen out of love with Steven Spielberg in the last 5 years, so I don't really like his shit anymore. Yeah, pretty much. I have problems with him. I have problems with him on some of the things he supports and some of his attitude on some things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you, dude. You're just another boomer. I'm going to move on. Yeah. Just another boomer. You and Ron Howard go have beers and talk about your trillions. So
there you go.
Wow. Someone's in a...
I'm in a mood. You know why? Well, and I know we were talking about maybe turning this into an episode about State of the Game, but I wanted to launch with the fact that WotC has officially, like 2 weeks ago, kind of retconned their approach to the weekly drops. They actually listened to the community. The community just slammed them about the fact that master tier subscriptions couldn't share those weekly drops, and it was so loud.
I got a question for you guys. Okay. Seriously, I got a question. I'm not suggesting that you meant it this way, but you made a statement that you said WotC actually listened to the community. Mm-hmm. Now, my question and people will be like, "Oh, that's great." I still think that they're just fucking moronic for having made that decision in the first place. So, do you think they are just that truly blinded to anything outside of their little production bubble? Or do you think that they do it on purpose and truly just don't give a fuck and throw it out there just as a test to see, hey, can we squeeze some more money out of them? Will they tolerate it? Or do you think they did it? And I'm serious. Or do you think they did it kind of half knowingly to set it up so that then they could say, hey, we actually listened to you and we retconned it? Now,
I think unfortunately
they are just.
I think unfortunately all three of those are.
I'm still disgusted that they thought they could get away with that in the first place.
I think all three of those examples are wrong, and I think you already know they're wrong because both of you have sat in similar meetings that I'm about to give as a sample of probably what happened. They probably had a really good meeting about these weekly drop things as a way to entice traffic to the website. And I think they put together a good plan. I think fundamentally it was a smart idea. To get approval for the budget and to get approval for the idea, it has to go to someone who doesn't give a shit about D&D. So when that elevates up to that person, that senior level management who's not involved in that production staff was like, oh yeah, this is a great way to trap people into subscriptions. We'll budget your money for this, but you got to do it this way. So it forces them to have to get subscriptions in order to enjoy, the drops and, whatever, the basic versus the master.
So it's somewhere in between 2 and 3.
It's worse than that. No, it's worse than that because
it's worse because they don't stick up for their own IP.
Yes, that's the problem. So when it gets back to the production staff, they're so terrified of getting fired. They're so terrified of criticizing the senior level manager. They know it's going to fail, and the only way that they can then go back to that management group is with proof of its failure, because that's the way those people are reactive. That's the only thing they listen to. So and we've all sat in those meetings.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and my answer is, oh, boo-hoo, suck it. Every fucking company on the face of the planet deals with that shit.
So I'll give you an example.
Like I said, I agree with everything you say, but I think you're giving them still a little bit too much credit. I don't think the decision of, yeah, we can do that, but this is how I want you to do it, I don't think it's as high up as you think. I would not be surprised.
When it comes to the difference, no, you're wrong, because when it comes from a difference of income and money stream coming in, the people above them will only ever care about that, and they will interfere with that.
Pass up a chance to monetize digital content.
What's that?
You don't think Chris Cox would pass up a juicy chance to monetize digital content like that?
No, he wouldn't pass up a chance, and he tried.
That's my point. That was his decision, not
right. That's what I'm saying. But the only way
enough about the game and should know enough about the IP to know that was a shit fucking decision. So it is on him, and he did do it on purpose. And the reason was, how much will they tolerate us squeezing out of them?
Right, but then with the production team,
anyway, you got it.
But then the production team, right, didn't feel comfortable pushing back until they had the analytics to prove that it was a bad decision-making process.
I get that. And I'm not blaming the production team because it's not their decision. You're right. It's out of their hands. I'm blaming somebody who is in charge of the actual wheel, not the radio tower guiding the wheel. Okay.
But I mean, they still suffer from the problem that they don't feel that they have the confidence to stand up for what they believe in.
Cowards. They're fucking cowards and yes men like anybody else. So why do I need that? Fuck them. That's my point. Any way you slice it.
It's like a very sensitive subject, and it sounds like you're both agreeing with each other, actually.
Well, not really. So here's the.
We've been
you're like, what no? And he's like, what no? And you're
but here's the irony.
We've been having this same argument in one form or another about WotC for 5 fucking years. How long do we have to keep fucking up before the community?
You can agree to disagree and talk about something else.
The funny thing is that Brian's always surprised that they keep fucking up. It's almost as if he's isolated his selective memory of normal reality.
Well, I'm not surprised.
So like I can remember sitting in a meeting during my corporate days. We had the senior vice president of a business organization, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted us to spend $100,000 on a particular page within the website experience that his customers were having. So I went out and I did a little analytical trolling of his website. Well, only 1% of his customer base were using that one page. The remaining 99% of the customer base were not using that page. And so when I brought that analytic back to him, he was like, well, what does that mean? It means that you want us to spend $100,000 on a page that 1% of your client base is using. So I'm not really sure why we're making this investment. If you can give us a monetized reason for why you want us to make this investment, then that's great. And everybody looked at me like, why are you talking to a senior vice president that way? And I'm like, well, because when he wastes the money and it doesn't make a difference and they lay off the production team, why are you not defending the fact that you can do quality work without just rolling over and letting these people make really bad decisions? And the solution is not to run away with your tail between your legs and go work for Critical Role. That's not the solution. And, I will never forgive the Twins for doing that.
I know you won't. And here's where we differ, because well, whatever.
If you don't fight for your quality,
I'm not in love with them, but I give them credit for at least fucking leaving.
Nah, they're assholes.
Finally,
if you're not willing to fight for your passion, if you're not willing to fight for your quality of what you do, if you're not willing to stand your ground at that precise point in time, you never will, and you will regret it for the rest of your life. You will absolutely regret it for the rest of your life. If you just want to be afraid of not paying your mortgage, not paying your car lease, not, all the things you could kind of figure a way to still survive on if you want to adapt to the modern way that, people work. But if you just miss that opportunity to really stand your ground and really, put your soul and your heart into what you do, you're a coward to me. You're useless. There's nothing. I have no interest in you.
Maybe they just wanted to go work somewhere else.
No, they're cowards.
I've left places just because I was like, this is boring. I want to go work somewhere else.
Yeah, but you're smarter than them, so I give you a lot more credit.
You don't know that.
If you're at D&D and WotC lays off the entire production team of D&D, and two of the most senior production people leave to go do the same kind of work over at Critical Role, I mean, that's basically a poster example of...
I guess I just don't get that into it. I look at a company's... Same with WotC. If they put out a new product, I'll look at it. If I want to buy it, I'll buy it. And if I don't, I don't. And I don't really, I guess, get all into like what they're doing at a corporate level. I'm just like, do I want this product? Nah, I don't think so. And then I move on with my life.
Yeah, I'm a bit more challenged because I'm technically a reseller.
That's exactly why women should be ruling the world.
But I'm a reseller of their product, so I look at it very differently, right? So when they put something out, I've got to consume it in such a way that says, okay, I love these weekly drops, but I can't share them with my players because they fucked it up and didn't attach it to my master tier.
Yeah, there is a bit of a difference when you are using it as a tool to make money.
Yeah, it affects me differently.
But I still do the same analysis from a product sense. I would be like, do I want to use this? Oh, it doesn't have this benefit I need. Okay, I'm not going to use it.
And again, we've been bitching about this. We've been bitching about this for 5 years about them, but
it's not making you feel any better.
Not
to bitch about it.
No, because they keep.
I feel great. It makes me feel great every time I make.
I don't feel good when I do stuff. I feel good when I let it go.
The point is, listen, we're talking about it as a topic on the show. I don't have this discussion outside of Lawfully Chaotic.
I do.
You know what I mean? So, it's content for the show. At the end of the day, you're right. It's not like they've done such egregious things as destroying the climate or child slave labor or something like that.
Sure.
Well, I think the fact
that talk about positive things about TTR.
I think if Chris Cox is eating.
Not stupid enough, you're right. I'll buy it.
If Chris Cox is using all of his money to consume food that he doesn't deserve, then yeah, he's damaging the environment. Plain and simple.
Food that he doesn't deserve.
Yeah, because his paycheck should be.
What did you want tonight?
Because he shouldn't get a paycheck. He's an idiot. He's a complete fucking idiot.
You don't deserve.
Yeah, well, welcome to 80% of the C-suite in the entire world.
Oh, I know, and that's why I love not having to work corporate anymore. I don't have to care what I say. I don't care. And every corporate entity in this country knows that they shit on everyone below their level. They know they do. They absolutely know that they do. And because they hold all the purse strings, they hold all the control. Fear of poverty is why they're in control.
Yes.
And our natural apathy of not fighting back. We will leave the job to go somewhere else because of our natural apathy not to fight back. We're too concerned about poverty, therefore we'll shift and go somewhere else because we simply just won't fight back. We'll just move on to something else. I mean, and I can't.
That's fine.
Like,
who cares?
Well, you know, an apathetic nation is a problem. I mean, that's a societal problem.
That's why we're in the situation that we are now, because those
absolutely
that been caring didn't care.
And the fantasy
don't get that deep into it, I guess. I just want to do stuff that makes me happy on a day-to-day basis, and if something stops making me happy, I'm going to go do something else.
That sounds exactly like someone over in Russia who's watching a drone hit a refinery.
I'm in Russia now. Now I'm a communist.
Wow, this is going off the rails.
Well, no, but it's like here we.
I'm so glad Kristen is actually here to. Truly, like,
but think about the bizarreness. I
want to play tabletop role-playing games.
But think about how bizarre it is that we play these fantasy games, right? we play these fantasy games where we play these alternate egos that we know we're never going to be. Right? That's the root.
Well, sure, because the characters don't really exist. But if I could be an elf, you're damn right I would be.
Well, but see, that's funny because like I play anywhere from 7 to 10 games a week. So I get this amazing feedback loop from how all these people are playing, you know, how they interpret the idea of play, how they interpret what it means to them to be able to be a completely different person for 3 hours and how they can leave their real person self behind and discover what it means to just fully immerse themselves into a fantasy game. And it's like as I'm starting to look at all these new games coming out, I'm kind of hopeful that we're back to that original topic that we talked about, Bri. I'm kind of hopeful that we're now in that third party renaissance. You know, we were talking about the Neon Odyssey that dropped. You know, and made that amazing $15 million Kickstarter, record for Kickstarter for TTRPGs. And I'm like, I really want other third-party creators to like see that and be hopeful that it's worth the effort and it's worth the value of, you know, getting out there and creating your kind of own, and it's like, and so I was looking at some of the stuff. There's like all these games that are converting over to the 5.5 framework. Vampire the Masquerade is coming to D&D Beyond, which I thought was interesting. I thought that was really interesting. Obviously, they're doubling down on horror, right? Because they had Strahd. Vampire the Masquerade is coming over, which tells me if you wanted to, you could potentially use 5.5 framework in Vampire the Masquerade if you want.
I wonder what they're going to do with the hunger thing, because the whole thing the reason why I wanted to play that to begin with is I like the hunger dice mechanic.
Yeah, and the best part about the hunger dice mechanic is that it kind of forces you to do things by introducing the stress of what it does.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, it's like that hunger dice level is growing and growing and growing.
Right.
And maybe you don't want to address it, but at some point the mechanic is going to force you to address it. And that, you know, it's kind of like the madness system in Cthulhu. It's like one of my favorite things is the madness system in Cthulhu. And I've tried for years to try to come up with a way to like introduce madness into D&D to give this kind of like background passive kind of thing that's always happening. But what's funny is that it's a lot easier to do in Daggerheart. Like I can introduce madness super easy in Daggerheart because they have the countdown rule, right? So when you invoke the countdown rule, you basically can create something that you want to start happening. You notify the players that the countdown has started, and now you're introducing game stress, right? You're introducing that idea of they don't know what that countdown's for. They just know it started, and they're not entirely sure what that countdown means.
Usually in Jason's games, it's nothing good.
Yeah, definitely not. Usually nothing good. It's usually
let me say one more thing. The reason that it bothers me is, to your point, Jason, all these third-party games are coming out, which is awesome. I mean, the more developers and the more competition, if you will, that there is, the better off for us because there's more to choose from.
Right.
To be argued, higher quality. So companies, I mean, that's the whole point of advertising and marketing, is vying for someone's dollar, all right? And this goes all the way back to like the brand discussion and the customer loyalty and the connection that you have to the brand. Now, these people in charge had the rare opportunity to inherit a company that had an IP with a 50 fucking year community behind it. And, I mean, not a lot of companies can say that. Right? The community is part of D&D. D&D is part of the community. You can't separate them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can separate some people from Coca-Cola, and then you could just go find some more people to sell Coca-Cola to. And it's not going to hurt the brand. So what bothers me is I am one of the people that grew up with it and loves it and still plays it and tries to introduce other people to it. And you want me to spend money on your products, but you keep making these decisions that clearly do not have my best interests as one of your customers at heart. And best interest sounds like they're there to serve me. That's not what I mean, but for lack of a better word, like you don't have my, my presence in the equation in your sites at all, is what it comes down to. That's why it bugs me.
Okay.
That's fair.
I understand.
That's fair.
I mean,
sorry it bugs you so much. I don't like that for you. I don't like that for you because I don't want you to be upset.
No, like I said, dude, I don't lose sleep over it. It doesn't bug me.
Okay.
I
feel better.
Not that it bothers me. I should restate that. I should say that's why I'm so passionate about it when we talk about it.
Well, I think
it's disappointing. As a customer, it's just like if I go to a movie that insults my intelligence by being so fucking unbelievable and stupid, and it meaning to be like a serious movie. I want nothing to do with it. I won't go and see that shit because you're insulting my intelligence and you're asking for my money, but you're maybe making me feel like an idiot at the same time. Why would I want to pay you to make me feel like an idiot? So. It's that aspect of it in this particular space that I think it still just never is. It doesn't cease to amaze me that they still don't.
Well, I think
at this point they never will. They're not going to change. So
I mean, they're already on their third management group.
Yeah,
it's like when we started this, it's like they had one management group that quit. And then they built another management group, and then that management group was up, and now they have a third management group. So it's like, it's never going to
and until Hasbro gets to the point where they say, you know what, it was a fun experiment, but we're done, we're selling it off. And
except that it's the only branch of their company making money right now.
Well, right. So unlikely that it'll happen, which is my point. So it's just it's the reality of who's at the wheel right now. Whatever.
Kristen, are you playing games still? Are you still able to, do you have a group that's meeting?
Yeah, I have. Every Sunday I have a Dragonbane game. And every other Saturday I have a Scum and Villainy, which is Outer Space Blades in the Dark.
Yeah. I really like that Scum and Villainy book.
Me too.
I like that book a lot.
I like the Blades in the Dark book too. Yeah,
I wish more people wanted me to run it professionally, but it's just like I'm only ever kind of like DM'd with messages of, when are you running this D&D book? When are you running this D&D book? And I'm like, Because I would love to run Aliens. I love Aliens so much. I'd love to run that.
You set up the Aliens too.
I would love to play that too.
Well, I mean, I constructed it, and then I got all the PDFs and got it organized. But when I put out my DMs and I put out my feelers to see who wants to play, it's like nobody really ever kind of responds to it. It's like
I think a lot of people gravitate just towards D&D because they've heard of it.
Yeah,
I'm just as interested in trying other systems as I do like starting a new campaign.
Yeah.
Like I don't get super excited about, here's a vampire thing for D&D or here's a this for. I'm like, I don't want to play. I want to play a different system now.
Yeah,
you definitely play more different systems than
I'm just as interested in the different mechanics and the different systems.
Maybe Aliens. I used to when I was a kid. We played a ton of different systems. Now it's pretty much just D&D, although now Daggerheart too. So maybe Aliens is one of those winter RPG games.
I ran the starter kit, the old starter kit of Alien, and I found a starter kit is meant to be like, you don't want to invest the money in the core rulebook, so for like $20 you can pick up a starter kit and try it out. And I did not like their starter kit at all. I didn't like the way the books were laid out. It was very hard to find stuff. And there was a bazillion NPCs that all knew different things that I felt as a person trying to run the game got too complicated. But they revised. They have a new edition that just came out, and I believe there's supposed to be a new starter kit.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard that.
But other than that, I loved the setting. I loved like the mechanics of stuff. I really liked the game. So if anybody wants to check it out, go get the new starter kit of Alien. It was really good.
And I think that's why I've been leaning towards maybe starting up a Star Wars table, because I like the framework of the 5.5e for this. Well, currently Star Wars is running the 5.0. They would have to update their rules to incorporate the 5.5e changes into their rules. But I just love the lore of Star Wars, equal to loving the lore of Shadowrun. But the new Shadowrun edition was just overly complex and just kind of silly complex. I don't know why they did some of the things that they did. Like, I would love to run Shadowrun in the Daggerheart framework. I think that would be
well. You kind of are.
I'm doing a cyberpunk for the Neon and Leyline, so I have
cyberpunk. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
I was going to play another space game though. I would want to try either Mothership or Traveler. I think.
I would definitely recommend Traveler. Yeah, I would definitely recommend Traveler.
That sounds interesting.
The problem I have with Mothership, it's a very, it's not a campaign system. It's designed for kind of like very, very quick and simple play.
Right. So when Critical Role did like a space, Ashley ran a one shot, and they took a combination of Mothership rules and Alien rules together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she did such a great job. It was so good. I think I have watched that one shot probably 10 to 15 times. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's a good one. And who ran that one? That was
Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley ran
Ashley
that one.
Johnson ran it.
Yeah. I have that one in my queue.
Good.
Yeah, I have that one in my queue. She is a very underrated DM.
Yeah, she was very nervous, and it was like her first time running, and she did an amazing job. It was so good.
Kind of like when Taliesin Jaffe ran that Cthulhu, the crystal, the crystal something. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, that was so good too. And he ran Vampire for them, which was good too.
Yeah, I was entranced with the way he ran it. It was.
Yeah, that one was so good as well. Yeah. It's called the Nautilus arc. Is the Mothership Alien one.
Thank you. Yes.
It's really good. Really good.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
I gotta go back
it's like a 3-4 hour one shot. Maybe 3.5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like, a half hour of waiting and ads and
you can jump ahead and I think there's probably an intermission in the middle.
Yeah, and then they do their 15-minute break to go smoke weed and get sandwiches.
Sweet.
Because Marisha is a pothead, right? She's a major pothead. I absolutely love her for that. Sleeves are bullshit, and she loves to smoke weed. I'm just a huge fan. I'm a huge Marisha fan because she reminds me of Callista, that real passion of playing, but kind of could take it or leave it sometimes, and just being around people that love to play is kind of more fun than actually playing. That's the reason why I miss my live in studio games, is because having everybody at the table. And unfortunately, Callista says she loves to play those live games, but she's far more extroverted in her online games. When she's live at the table, her introvertedness takes over, and she's not nearly as committed. Now, when I have my friend Ivar here and her together, the two of them are a typhoon. I mean, they're just out of control. I gotta sit them at separate ends of the table. I got little foam squares that I throw at them to calm them down. They're just out of control. And I mean, they're out of control and completely.
Sounds like herding cats.
Inappropriate. Oh yeah. Herding 2 cats. The rest of the cats follow along just fine. It's just those 2 cats that are the challenge. I think if you had, knowing what we know about our past and the culture of what's influenced our entertainment lives, what's a game that you guys wish was a TTRPG we could play? Like, what's a genre or a game or a movie, or what would be like your dream game when you think about it? Or have they already made all the games and it's like...
I feel like most of my favorite movies are just kind of fall under fantasy, though, in general. Like, I don't know how you would make it like a separate type of game, but I'm a huge fan of, I think it was a Ridley Scott movie, Legend.
Yes.
With Tom Cruise when he was like a baby. And Tim Curry was Satan. I freaking love that movie so much.
Now, what's really funny...
CDD.
My very first character ever, I named Una. And she was a pixie.
That's kismet, because sitting on my shelf, Callista bought me the Labyrinth RPG.
Oh.
So I have the little Labyrinth RPG book sitting on my shelf. And it reminded me of Legends. And I always felt that Legends was kind of the adult version of Labyrinth.
I was just going to say there's 3. There's 3. You've got Legends, and then Labyrinth, which is kind of like, adolescent. And then you've got Neverending Story, which is much younger.
Sure. Yeah. Neverending Story reminds me of...
other than Lord of the Rings, those 3 movies... Oh, well, there's Dark Crystal, too. You can't forget
the Dark Crystal.
Now, Dark Crystal could be...
You could make that into a TTRPG.
Yeah, I think you can pull
it
off. I think
it's got a big enough... I don't really know if... I guess for me, it's not something specific. Like you said, I think everything's kind of been done in one form or another, including... I've always gravitated towards this universal... Just like I want a universal rule set that you can skin on anything, I still, in addition to Shadowrun from when I was a kid, the lore of it, I still find myself going back to the idea behind Torg, which stood for the other role-playing game. But that whole idea was this, like, not necessarily a multiverse, but just other dimensions coming together type of thing. I guess it is a multiverse thing, where there was like, ancient Egypt, and there was 1920s noir, and there was Western, and, and all those things came together in this weird kind of Buckaroo Banzai, kind of way. And I think that kind of multiversal, but at one point, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like everything comes together in one.
I think like GURPS was supposed to do that, but I don't like the crunchiness of GURPS. That's too crunchy.
Yeah.
You know what
What about you, Jason?
I think my dream game would be the introduction of both a cultural media remake in a modern sense. Like my favorite movie I watched as a kid, because it was one of many things that introduced me to the idea of fantasy play and what it means to kind of, how to, like, Swiss Family Robinson was one, reading The Hobbit one.
Yeah.
Like Swiss Family Robinson's amazing book about survival on an island as a family. Yeah, I mean, what ex-gen kid who's left abandoned at home for hours at a time wouldn't fall in love with a book like that as a child, because it gave me hope that maybe it would materialize. But I always loved the story of Spartacus, right? So the Spartacus story that was done in the 1950s or 60s, the one with can't think of the actor right now, but oh God, what's his name? I know Tony Curtis was in it.
That was not Charlton Heston, was it?
No, it wasn't Charlton Heston. I know Tony Curtis was in it, and then the main star, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but that's okay because
Will Brenner.
No.
You look it up.
For me, the modern telling of Spartacus would be really fun. Like this upgraded, this kind of like Xander said a couple weeks ago, this new kind of movement.
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas, yes. Yeah. Thank you. So this new movement for hope steampunk, this hope punk movement that's been growing. I'd love the idea of a game built around the culture of what Spartacus means in the modern era. This idea of a mystical person known as Spartacus who tried to fight against the slavery of the corporate environment. And it creates this modern interpretation of what it means to be a slave now versus, traditional history of Roman period. This idea, it's
kind of like a dystopian story, but with a happy ending, basically.
With hope, with hope kind of built into it. Like, there were two ones. There's the Spartacus one. I'm still mulling around in my head to figure out how to make that work, how to turn that into a game system. The other one is that I'm a huge Sherlock Holmes fan. And now that his stuff is public domain, all of his content and all of his books are public domain, I've always thought about building a game system where Sherlock is the AI. And then all the characters are built around this world where they're solving problems and they're solving crimes in this world, whether it's our modern world or an ancient world or kind of the idea of the multiverse. But this idea that you're looking at that problems that are causing concern, but you're actively trying to solve them, and it creates hope. So this idea of taking the hope cyberpunk dystopian framework and putting in these like new modern interpretations of older interpretations of culture have always fascinated me. So the idea of creating a Spartacus game, but really turn it on its head, create a Sherlock Holmes game, but really kind of turn it on its head. And I was really inspired by the series that the BBC put out all those years ago with Cumberbatch. And,
my God, I love that one. I've seen every episode
with Cumberbatch and Bilbo. Oh, not Bilbo.
Martin.
Young Bilbo. Sorry. Young Bilbo, not old Bilbo. Two of my most favorite actors. I mean, they're just amazing. And I find it interesting that he was Smaug and he was young Bilbo. I always thought that was kind of cool.
So I love Moriarty in that show. He's so good.
Yeah. I think, a good noir, and I know there have been noir, but not like a grittier noir, kind of a detective game, but also like film noir meets Sin City kind of type of thing. I always loved Frank Miller's Sin City comics and graphic novels because they were just so fucking striking with just three colors. Black and white and red, or black, white, and yellow. And it was just so impactful, yet it was set in the, against this very film noir kind of feel. So something like that, but a fully expansive world. Even You could even go as far as doing like a Blade Runner thing, take that feeling and give it a little bit of futurism, also. So maybe it's still set in the 40s or whatever, but you've got, not steampunk, but you've got, mobile phones or, just shit like that.
Well, and that brings
up internet type of thing.
That brings up an interesting point because I was kind of inspired by the new noir Spider-Man series on Amazon.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've been watching the outtakes and the funny reels and the memes on it. And I saw the interview with the actor who's in it.
Nicolas Cage.
I don't know why. Every time I see Nicolas Cage, I want to call him Kevin Bacon. I don't know why I want to do that.
I have that with certain actors and actresses too.
Yeah. I do it with Margot. I do it with Margot Robbie too.
Yeah.
Some of the other actresses that look like her. But I like the idea of. I used to read a lot of Turtle Dove fantasy books.
Mm-hmm.
He used to write a lot of alternate history books. And I've always thought it would be interesting to take the notion of Traveler and there was another game that was out as well where you were these like time police where you went through time to prevent alternate history from happening and to keep the sound familiar, to keep the timelines here. The MCU tackled that, with the Loki series, right?
What was the organization that
like the time management something or other, the TMI or TMO or TMC.
The Time Variance Authority.
Yeah, the Time Variance Authority. Yeah. I love the idea of alternate history, especially if you want to muck around with a lot of the challenges that human history has.
Yeah.
And I find that ancient history is actually a safer playground because there's nothing you could do about ancient history.
Right.
Like we don't really know all there is to know about ancient history. So when
it's open,
Yeah. So like when which is why what's his name's Grimoire the Unseen really attracted me.
Yeah.
Because it started to feed into my idea that, when Cthulhu had dropped Cthulhu Rome, where Cthulhu takes place during the Roman period. I found that incredibly enticing because there were a lot of bad things going on in the Roman period, right? I mean, there's enough history to tell you that slavery was bad. Their interpretation of slavery was very different than, the modern 19th, 18th, and 17th century interpretation of slavery. But it's such an ancient historical record that we don't really know enough about everything to pass too much judgment on it. So it feels like a little bit more of a safer space to play a game in because all of that is so ancient and so in the past that you could have a lot of fun interpreting what it would be like to be 5 Roman characters trying to solve this Cthulhu-like mystery at the Pantheon or at the Colosseum or and interlace all of these kind of like bizarre notions of where did their superstitions come from. I mean, maybe some of those superstitions were real, maybe there really were monsters back then, who knows, right? So you can really kind of create this amazing playground where it's Cthulhu but in Rome. And I bought the PDF and I think I'd like to try to get a Cthulhu game going where you get to be a player character during the Roman age and you're in the world of Cthulhu because Cthulhu's ancient, right? The Greek Cthulhu beast, the ancient one. I mean, he's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. And I feel like that would be a really fun solution for Torg. What if there was a Cthulhu-like Torg, where
I just wrote this down because I think I'm going to develop this game. I'm tired of saying I want to do it. I'm serious.
You're going to steal his idea, is what you're saying?
It's going to be film noir based. It's going to have a bit of futurism, like cell phones, batteries, stuff like that. A little bit. It's also going to have a Cthulhu aspect, a macabre aspect, and be a little nugget into that multiverse without going ape shit on the first go.
And I feel like Candela Obscura really, I think Candela Obscura really got my juices flowing on the creativity factor, because what they did is they built a kind of Cthulhu-esque dystopian alternate world, but they used a lot of the steampunk genre around it to say, okay, this is steampunk dystopian, but it's not the planet Earth. It's just this other world that you're in and it's taking place in. And you're these detectives, you're these investigators, you're these characters solving these strange problems. And I think it was a really good beginning foray for them to go into, because competing with Cthulhu is hard. Because Cthulhu is old, it's been around for a long time. It has a pretty strong fan base. And the Cthulhu fan base plays a lot of Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think those two games are very attractive to that fan base. So to delve into that steampunk noir macabre kind of genre is difficult, because Cthulhu's capitalized on it so well and built this, you know, stratified structure so well that we find ourselves saying it's Cthulhu-esque, right? Or we're playing this game that's Cthulhu-esque as a kind of reference.
This, I don't think it's worth going so deep as to even compete with it. I think a little bit of that flavor added in somehow, and I'd have to figure out how.
I want to figure out a way, because one of the things that was very influential on me is when we were doing those game reviews and Kristen was reviewing those pocket games, the ones that you carry around in your pocket. I want to tackle that. I want to come up with an idea. I want to come up with a game or a game system that's similar to the idea of playing a genre of game that you carry around in your pocket. Because it reminds me of when we used to be on the school bus going to school, and we had our little D&D pamphlet books out, and our little 6-sided dice, and we were in the back of the bus on these 4 benches, and we were playing D&D. You know, and my friend would open up his lunchbox and pull out his one of his snacks, like Cheetos or something, and the Cheetos became the monsters. You know, the graham crackers were the dungeon paths. You know, and because our commute for when we were on the bus was sometimes 45 minutes to an hour to get to school. So we had all this time, and that was two or 3 years that happened for me. And that was, I guess maybe that's why I'm a little excited about not Shadowrun, but Shadow Dark.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of going back to a simpler, more nostalgic fantasy. But I love the idea of it not being a big book and maybe just being this pocket book or this little pocket game that you pull out and you say, okay, you're an elf, you're a dwarf, you're a human, you're this, you're this. You're standing in front of a door. What do? You know, this idea that you can just pull a game out and just start playing. Yeah. And you have enough in that content of that small little game that you could play for maybe 2-3 hours. And it, you know, it becomes a distraction, or it becomes a downtime thing, or it becomes this kind of idea that, you know, that you can just carry this little game around with you. I always felt that
really cool idea. I like that.
I was very
train.
Yeah. Like I was like, and they put a lot in those little compact games. I mean, when Kristen opened the box and she was pulling out all this stuff, I'm like, holy shit, they put a lot in there for such like a pocket.
Those are the tiny epic games.
Yeah, the tiny epic games.
I have almost everyone. You know, another thing I love about those? They cost $40. The deluxe version, $20. Those are my favorite Kickstarters. Just like, oh, I only got to spend $40. No, those games are phenomenal. I love them. I have Western, I have Galaxies, I have Heroes, I have Cthulhu, I have Pirates.
That is another. That's another genre. I wish we could get a really cool pirate TTRPG.
Yeah.
There's some historical challenges with piracy, and if you want to make it into a fantasy play space, I mean, how do you pull that off, right? That's not easy to do. I mean, I've got at least one solid pirate themed D&D game going right now called Reign of the Red Tide. Mm-hmm. And these guys are pretty piratey. They're not murder hobos, but they're solid pirates. I mean, they took down an entire town without batting an eye, and they worried about whether the town was good or bad later on. So it's like, it kind of like the Rick and Morty Vindicator thing. They destroyed a whole town to solve a small problem. It's like, but yet I love the freedom that the piracy genre gives you for fantasy, because you get to be on a ship, you're out in the waters. The question is, do you approach it kind of like they did at Candela Obscura and just create an alternate world? And piracy just kind of exists in that alternate world. Because when you start trying to tackle historical reference of a pirate fantasy game, that can be very challenging, and it could be a little cringy too. And I don't, we're in a much more newer age of interpretation of that kind of information. And I've always thought that if I could, I know you're not a big fan of GURPS, Kristen, and to be honest, I'm not a really big fan of it either, because I've always imagined that a GURPS, which stands for Game Universal Role Playing System or whatever, or
generic universal.
Generic universal role playing system. I've always found it interesting that a generic universal role playing system has 100 books. Like, to me, you know what I mean. And one of their books is like this thick. It's huge. And one of the things I've always liked the idea about creating a generic role-playing system is to keep it super simple, like keep it maybe 10 or 15 pages, right? And then make it so that it's generic enough that absolutely any theme that you want to play is playable.
I'm going to call my new system GURPS. Brian's Universal Role-Playing System.
Burps.
And on that note, we did it again. It was an hour. Well, that was a really good conversation. We started.
I can't wait to play test burps. That'll be fun.
All right. You will be the first. You're first on the play list. You too. So to sum up, WotC sucks, and all these new games coming out are awesome, and we can't wait to play them.
This is true.
Kristen, where can we find you?
You can find me at Kristen's Epic Adventures on both YouTube and TikTok.
Hey, Brian, where are you at?
RPG and Co. on Instagram and a few others. Instagram's a good place to reach me. And also check out the website at playrpgandco.com. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me over at ttrpgacademy.life. All my socials are there. All my available tables are there. As always, try to join our Discord. Lots of conversations going on over there. Brian, TPK.
Tell a story, Jason.
Play a game, Kristen.
And remember to be kind.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining.